Mr. Speaker, I rise with pride to commend for passage in this honorable House the budget of 2026. Presented under the theme, putting people's first. People first, I said that. So, indeed, this budget puts people first. Mr. Speaker, like my colleague Jenny, I would have liked to see the day that we could jointly come to this House and recognize some of the good things, some of the benefits coming out to the people. But unfortunately, my comrades on the other side of the House who are in the opposition, accustomed to being opposed to even the good things that they see and they can't recognize. The People's Progressive Party civic government, however, is different from them, because from the inception of this party, development had always been people-centered. Development had always been with the ordinary people being at the helm of the decision-making through their involvement, and they are being listened to. And Budget 2026 does nothing else but to continue to give to the people of Guyana benefits that you have never ever dreamed of. Mr. Speaker, one of my colleagues in the opposition, and this time it's not Vince Roy, I'll come to Vince Roy later on, Honorable, so spoke as if, this budget has nothing for the people. And then goes on to talk about the legacy of President Granger. But let me tell you what was the legacy of President Granger. And some of you who are still there, along with the political grasshoppers who move from one station to the next. So let me tell you what is their legacy. Their legacy is one where they were accustomed to taking away, snatching away things that they can't snatch me. So, what they did, they said that, look, this, but your legacy is that even on educational materials, you put on VAT. You charge the people. You charge taxes even on the donkey cart man. And then you're coming here to say that, we have done well. But go back and look at what you have done. You have caused tremendous amount of disaster to the people of this country. And, when this budget looks at what the developments are, what matters the most is whether the nurse can be able to raise her children, whether the 𝐃𝐄𝐁𝐃𝐄𝐁 could be able to retire properly with dignity, whether the young family can own a home, whether our children can access quality education, regardless of where they are born and where they live, and all the different things that I will come to in a while. But you don't believe in that. You have a policy of taking away and not giving unto people. And therefore, that is why we will always have differences of opinion. And the differences is because Budget 2026 have answered those questions which are important to the Guyanese people. And when we look at the spendings which are substantial: housing, water, social services. When we look at health, education, all of these are reflected in classrooms, hospital beds, protection for those who need it. Housing, what have you done in housing? You scrapped the Ministry of Housing. There was no ministry. You talk about labor and labor protection. What did you do? There was no labor ministry under your watch. You had a department. And you never did anything for the protection of workers. You never did anything. So when you talk about health services, these are reflective in what the population benefits from. It talks about extended services, it talks about trained personnel, and it talks about a better service, which many of you are enjoying too. And when you talk, of course, the education has always been a cornerstone of this PPP civic government. Education is reflected in what our nation brings out, not in the ungratefulness of a member who spoke earlier, who was a beneficiary of the Gold Scholarship, got his qualification there, coming to this honorable house to pretend as if it is not a good program. If it is not good, why you take it and why you went there? So, comrades, we got to be mindful of those who come to deceive deliberately. They are mischievous, and the Guyanese people must know about them. So, when we look at the social security, the benefits that are derived to the population, as a trade unionist, I have to mention those things and measure the economy by that. And Mr. Speaker, I'm very disappointed with my colleague, Coretta McDonald. Her union and the government has a 3-year agreement starting from 2024, 25, and 26. It is a favorable agreement and she should be proud of it, rather than coming here to say that teachers are crying for more money. Who else don't want more money? But one has to look at what they get in the context of what is available and what it means to them. Mr. Speaker, the agreement provides for 10%, 8%, and 9%. And it is paid in an economy where the inflation rate had been an average of 2%. It means, therefore, that the workers who benefit under that agreement, they have a real increase in their pay. If the inflation was 2% and you had 10%, it means that you had a real growth in your salary by 8%. Mr. Speaker, we look at the income tax threshold. The income tax threshold removes thousands of people from paying taxes. And it also takes some people, while it takes some people out of paying taxes, it also benefits others. It is a real increase, putting money into people's hands that could be used to buy foodstuff, to do different things. And therefore, one has to look at it from its positive, from the positive as it is. When we look at the low mortgage ceiling, this is also helping people to be able to own their own house at a cheap rate of financing, that is readily available. Never had it been under your term like that. Never had it been under your term like that. Never. Never. When we look, people come and talk about infrastructure. They talk about new roads, bridges. Well, they should be proud that they're having that, because for the first time in the history of this country, you are getting lost on so many good roads. You don't know where to go sometimes. Sometimes even when you're going to Agricola, when you're going to Mocha, when you're going to Diamond, right? So, one has to be mindful. There is talk about children at Mabaruma not having anywhere to go. Well, there is a lot for them to do. Under the APNU AFC, your legacy had been one that you take away the grant from them. Right? Your legacy had been one that you snatch away money from children who needed it badly. And it was the PPP government that went and reintroduced it and increased it to 85,000 per year, per child. What did you do? You talk about old age pension, and you are forgetting one point. Old age pension is not intended to be a salary to people. It is a supplement which they did not work for. And they would have expected an old age pensioner at 65 would have been expected to be working somewhere else and to earn maybe an NIS pension or a contributory pension. It was never ever intended to become a full-blown salary for anyone and put on your pipe and smoke it. It is this PPP government that increased it, and it is now 46,000. And don't only check 46,000, check all the other things that they are benefiting from, some of which you went and reached there. I could name the subsidy on electricity, the subsidy on water, and so many other things. You ever give people transportation costs? Have you ever given a transportation allowance to old age pensioner? It is the first time it is coming to them. Mr. Speaker, I want to turn my attention to the sugar industry. The sugar industry is close to my heart. So it is close to many other people, thousands of people. My friend, my colleague, Comrade Jordan, honorable member, talks about the cost of production. Your government under APNU, AFC, is responsible for the state of the sugar industry it is at this time. It is the long-term effect of the damages that you created. You did not put a cent in the industry, and you run it down and you grind it to the ground. And if you need some guidance on sugar, there is a colleague who you don't talk to. He could give you some guidance because he works in the industry and he understands what you did. And if you want some teaching about sugar, I could provide it to you free. Free of cost, because I've worked my whole life in sugar. I know it inside out. But, Mr. Speaker, what I want to say is that the sugar industry is a different tune now from when they were in government. I have seen firsthand the dismissal of 7,500. I was at the time the General Secretary of the Union, and I was required to be there to speak to the workers about their benefit. And don't forget, when you dismiss those workers, I had to take you to court to pay them their severance. I took you to court and win it. I got 6% interest and 4% interest on the outstanding money that you had for them. Remind yourselves about that. And don't come to this house and try to pretend as if you know it and you did something well. What you did was devastating. You sent home 7,500 people without knowing where they will get another meal from. You charge the people at Skeldon $500 per day to go and catch fish in the canals to help them supplement their meals. And then what you did, you talk about high cost of production. You must talk about the people that you send home. You must talk about the people you didn't pay them their severance. You must talk about all the pumps and the machineries that disappear under your watch. Where did it go? Some of you were dealing in scrap metals. There's no doubt.
Honorable member, on my watch, your time is up.
Mr. Speaker, can I have 5 more minutes for the honorable member to conclude?
Thank
It's
you.
not your choice. We have the majority.
Honorable member, Mr. Seepaul, you may continue.
You must talk about a time when you had people sitting there with you dealing in scrap metals. You must talk about the excavators that disappear. You must talk about the 500 cane ponds at Skeldon that disappear. And you must talk about the machinery at Rose Hall that was disappear also. So, you know, you must talk about all those things because it is something that the Guyanese people will never, ever forgive you for. Mr. Speaker, I must say that there is new hope now. There is an injection of $13.4 billion to the industry this year, and that is very much welcome. There is new employment at Rose Hall Estate. It is operating, it is making sugar, and that is very good. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that the investment of this year's budget is indeed valuable. It's a valuable investment for the people in this country. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to congratulate my honorable colleague, Dr. 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄, his technical team, and the entire PPPC government for the articulation and presentation of this budget. It reflects diligence, consultation, and a deep understanding of our people's need. In closing, Mr. Speaker, Budget 2026 is more than a financial plan. It is a social contract. It is a reaffirmation that under the PPPC government, development will always be people-centered, inclusive, and just. I am proud to support this budget, proud to stand with our workers and families, confident that together we are building a Guyana where all our people can rise and live happy, contented, and dignified. I commend Budget 2026 to this honorable House for passage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, honorable member, Mr. Seepaul.